You are now tuned in to higher frequencies. We do this frequently. Turn your radio station to E3 for that decency. Listen to great music and the latest movement. Safe listening for anyone that's tuned in. Who you waking up to? Anna Deshawn, Q Crew and Friends. It's that real talk. Online radio with the spins. You caught up in traffic, frustrated. Just check in with E3 to shift your vibrations and get elevated. That's queer radio done right. Choose to be yourself. That's the only way to live life, and that's how it's done here. Just know y'all tuned in to the greatest. Ain't no competition. We ain't worried about the other stations. Check.
What's good, good people? You know, this is your girl, Anna Deshawn, right here on E3 Radio's Wake Up with Anna and Friends. And today, I got a friend that everybody needs. Real talk, okay? You need a lit lawyer to come to your rescue, okay? On any given day. Aisha N. Davis Esquire is in the building. Hey.
I love it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna make business cards, and I'll definitely put an asterisk to be like lit lawyer, courtesy of Anna Deshawn, because I gotta take it with me everywhere I go.
Gee, I'm telling y'all right now, if you ever get read by Aisha, okay, you just gonna be sitting there like, what is happening? I don't know, but I apologize, and I meant it, but I don't know what happened. That's what happens, okay? When she come reading you, I've seen it on a number of occasions. Okay, just let you know. I'm sure your brother, your mama, your daddy got plenty of stories, okay?
Absolutely. It's funny because, like, if you ask my parents, they'll tell you that the first time that I wrote a contract was when I was like 8 years old, and I convinced my dad to sign it, and I tried to enforce it. So, like, yeah, it's been a whole thing. It's been a whole thing my whole life.
I bet. And enforcing it probably was the funny part for them, okay? She really trying to keep me honest with this thing. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So, family, today, Aisha and I, now we could talk to Aisha about a lot of things, okay? I want to be clear. We can talk to her about policy. We can get real serious and deep around some bills and legislation and all the things. But today, we decided we wanted to talk about some joy, okay? We wanted to talk about what's bringing us joy. We wanted to talk about freedom and liberation and something that's going to actually fill our spirits with some goodness, some good things. So we're going to talk about joy today. Right, sis?
Yes, absolutely. We need to. I mean, the world gives you so many reasons to not think about joy and to feel bogged down and heavy. But honestly, why not? You know, we have... I know I miss not being able to be in the same space with you, Anna, because, like, I feel like every time we're in the same place, unless we're doing work, but whenever we're in the same place, there's joy, regardless. Like, yeah, we can get this done. We can plan something. We can do a strategic plan, but there's still gonna be joy and laughter. So yeah, let's lean into that.
Let's lean into that. So tell me, today, you know, we're in a time where people getting vaccinated. The world is opening back up. You know, in Chicago, the sun is shining. You know, maybe every other day. You know what I'm saying? So in this moment, what is bringing you some joy?
Honestly, the thing that is bringing me joy is the fact that, one, I have had one of the 2 vaccine shots that I need to have. So I'm feeling joyful about that because, you know, being healthy always brings a little bit of joy. But another thing that's bringing me joy is honestly thinking about and really exploring all these connections that have been happening during the pandemic. Like, I feel like we've all been isolated a little bit, far from each other. We had to get creative with staying in touch with people, but I think that I've fallen into a rhythm where, like, yeah, I'm gonna hear from this person this day and I'm gonna see this person that day. And so it's like, I look for those moments of connection with my people to bring me joy. Because a lot of times we can't rely on other things, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that brings joy quite like queer Black folks. And that's most of my circle, if not all.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So I was having a conversation the other day with Nikki Patan. If you missed it, you can go to YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Catch that. But she actually, in her house, they call the pandemic everything but the pandemic. So when I was talking to her, she was calling it a pancake. Okay.
Yes. Oh, I love all the alternative words for pandemic.
Yes.
A Panda Express. A panna cotta. One of my favorites is a personal pan pizza. Because that one just has, like, it resonates with me as a kid who enjoyed a good personal pan pizza. But yeah, anything but pandemic it's been a fun game. I also have a friend who early on in the pandemic started calling it the panty. And I was like, I don't know that I want to accept that as a term that I want to use for this whole situation.
I know that's right. But I can get down with pancake. Okay.
I'm here for it. So we're in the middle of a pancake right now.
We're in the middle of a pancake right now. And the pancake has given us a chance to connect with people all over the country, right? And I've always been in this space. So sometimes I find myself a little jaded by it. But the fact that I feel like the world gets it now kind of brings it back home, because literally the internet can connect us no matter where we're at. And now people have had to expand how they think about people working, how they think about people connecting. And our world will absolutely never be the same. And for that brings me a little joy, because the world before was insanity. The pace, the demand on people, all the things. And I'm hoping that folks have found some type of a balance that can bring more joy to their life, where that's not pulling away from their family time, not pulling away from maybe that passion project. And because I feel like if you didn't take the time during this pancake to reevaluate all those things, then you sort of missed it. You missed the whole point.
I will say that's something that I've been thinking about recently, because like we've had more and more conversations at my 9 to 5 about like how we're going back into the office at some point. I'm like, what? You mean I can't just roll out a yoga mat in the middle of the day and lay on my floor? I don't understand. So now I've been more like thinking about what should I do? Like creating a list of joyful things around the house to do before I have to like be in an office more regularly, right? So one thing I did do, and we didn't even talk about this, Anna. Yesterday, I made a pot roast, like, on a Wednesday. And I texted my sister-in-law, and she was like, who makes a pot roast on a Wednesday? I said, girl, I don't know, but I'm at home. Like, it doesn't matter. Between meetings, I can baste it. I can prep all the things. Like, it was hilarious, but also, you know, it kind of makes me think about what you just said, right? Like, how do we find that balance? Because on the days where I got to run around and do all the policy meetings, I can't season and sear my pot roast while slow and low roasting it to make sure it's tender. Like, there's no
hearing about that brings me joy. Are there potatoes and carrots in this pot roast?
Listen, okay. Now I got to talk about the whole process. So listen, I did not put the potatoes in the pot roast because I was like, I don't want them to get too soggy throughout the process. And I had a plan to make some gravy, so I made mashed potatoes on the side. Some herby, garlicky mashed potatoes. And of course, use a little bit of the jus from the pot roast in the mashed potatoes.
Of course you did.
You got to. But there were carrots, onions, and celery in the pot roast. And there was some red wine in the broth, like the liquid that it was braised in. So, yeah, and it was my first time making a pot roast.
You did it right. It sound right to me.
I'm gonna text you a picture. Don't you worry. I'm texting you a picture right after we get off of this.
Now, see, texting people pictures of deliciousness is not joyful. No, I got to taste it.
Oh, see, I'll make you a plate. You know what? The next time I make a pot roast, I'm calling you, and then I'll just make you a plate and set it aside.
Now that'll bring me real joy. Okay, you can send the picture now.
Okay, got it.
But to your point, I think that businesses and employers really have to reimagine what it means to welcome people back into offices, because there's already some apprehension, but then there is this level of freedom that you've had being at home. Rolling out a yoga mat at noon, that's something that businesses need to think about. How can we bring and make people feel comfortable back in the office? We should not go back to business as usual.
Not at all.
No, we shouldn't. We should think about how can we find a balance now in this new world and in this new reality that we all have to live in.
Absolutely. Like, another thing that I'll say that brought me joy is the fact that I think for the young people in my life, like the kiddos in my life, they were confused about what was happening. but as long as, I think with my nibblings at least, as long as they could reach out to the people that they were familiar with, they were kind of okay. And so there has been, in the last few months, a series of calls that I get from my nephew in the middle of the day because he figured out how to call me from his iPad. And so I get a call at like 1:15 on a Tuesday from a 5-year-old who's just like, Tanti, do you want to hear what I just did? Of course I do, because there's nothing more free and joyful than a black kid telling you about, like a little black kid telling you about the thing that brings them joy and happiness, like what they learn how to do. And he goes, Tanti, I'm so fast now. Here, watch me run. And literally I sat on the phone like enthralled. Yes, that's right. You are so fast. Like it has honestly brought me so much happiness and joy to be able to like maintain that kind of connection and contact. So yeah, this new freedom that we found, I really think it's important for us to figure out how to hold on to that. Like you said, like we can't lose it. We can't go back to the way things were.
And I hope we don't, because the way we were, everybody was burnt out. Everybody was tired. Then we entered into this pancake that wore everybody out. The loss was enormous, still is. Like the madness of it all felt like we was in a movie, right? And so now that we were a year and a few months into this thing and into this new reality, I'm hoping that folks have found a new way of being, a new way of living that is going to be sustainable and give people joy and freedom for a long time to come, because we all been through enough already.
Okay. Let us out the pancake. Once we get out the pancake, like, we can't force ourselves back into these rigid structures that were not really built for joy or freedom or liberation, honestly. Like that's the thing, right? Like there's nothing that existed before that was so perfect or amazing that we shouldn't rethink it, right? Like there's so much opportunity here. We have so much opportunity here. Like the accessibility of everything. I have seen and like participated in so many things that I would have never been able to do. There have been like all these festivals that have gone online, all these concerts, the versus battles, like everything has been happening in a way that has enabled us to experience things that we might never have had the chance to. So yeah, we need to hold on to this.
We do. I was on a networking thing today and I met a guy who lives in Madrid. And I was telling him about what we were doing here at the station. And he was like, only in America. And I was like, what? He was like, only in America. That's only something you can do in America. Here, everything is very strict. And you have to just go with what everyone else is doing. But in America, what you're doing is possible. And, you know, it's about the global perspective. When he begins to talk about the global perspective of it, he really puts into perspective, like you said, the opportunities that we can create for ourselves here, despite all the isms, despite all of the obstacles, despite all the things that weigh on us here. You know, there's still an opportunity for us to find the ways to inspire and give joy.
Absolutely.
Sis, lit lawyer. Hey, before you go, you got to tell the people what you're listening to. What's in the playlist?
Okay. What is in the playlist? So I have a constant rotation of some of the most lit artists that I can think of, because it helps me get through the day of policy work. So at the top of the rotation, we have some Megan Thee Stallion, of course. You know, gotta give it to my girl. Yeah. Lately, some SZA has been weaving her way into the mix, which has brought in other folks like Doja Cat. So those are like the top 3 right now in the rotation. And then, of course, there's my oldies, because something about growing up and having that carpool situation with my parents, like we would listen to the Steve Harvey Morning Show. And so my day feels better when I start with like Earth, Wind, and Fire. So Earth, Wind, and Fire to wake up to, and then Meg to get me through the afternoon hump of things. Yeah.
Well, then that's exactly what we about to do. Meg is on the way.
Love it.
That's what we about to do, family. Don't go nowhere. Lit lawyer in the building. Aisha Davis Esquire. Thank you so much for being on the show, sis.
Thanks for having me.
You know it. Stay close, family. You're locked in to E3 Radio.